Hey everyone, DragonHeart64 here, and gonna be doing something a little bit different with this video. Um, See, as I'm not able to actually record, consistently, and that was why in the video where I had said, oh, am I quitting YouTube, and no, I'm not. I kind of said a little bit about what the situation is currently with me. Because I work a retail job, and at least as I'm recording this, we're getting closer and closer towards Christmas. So meaning I'm not as home at much, and when I am, I'm very tired, so I need to use that time to sleep. So, you know, as I said in there, videos will be up when they're up, but they will be on when and what the schedule says. So don't worry too much. And I'm trying to make like kind of videos like this where it's like just either me talking or whatever to kind of be a holdover until I'm able to actually upload the actual things because they're not finished just yet. Um, like the two main Let's Plays are, but like the I Want to Be the Guy stuff and the Civ stuff, like that stuff isn't done. So I have to do that. Just with the whole Christmas shit, it just gets more challenging to figure out the time. But I was talking with a good friend of mine, and we were talking about Dream Theater. And in case you don't know, Dream Theater is like one of my top 10 favorite bands of all time. Actually, I would say they're more like in the top 5 to top 3. Though that's just me. Um, and we were talking about like, oh, he's like, oh, how would you rank the albums? And I've seen this tier list thing floating around for a while, so I thought, hey, why not I just make a video on the whole thing? So, all these albums I have listened to, other albums more than some. Um, as I'm scoping through this, I see there's no A Change of Seasons on here. That's interesting. Honestly, I would have put it on there, but that's just me. I know it's just one song really, and the rest are like all like live, like covers and shit. But I would have put it on there. Um, but alright, starting from F tier and then moving up. That's how I'm gonna do this. So F tier. I don't even need to think about this one. The Astonishing. Like when it first came out and when I first listened to it, yeah, sure, it's really long. But I could deal with that. I could deal with it being really long. I mean, it's just that I understand what they were trying to go for, and the first time I ever listened to this album, I honestly thought it was really good. I really did enjoy it. But then as I kept coming back to it repeatedly, I noticed, oh, this is getting worse and worse the more I listen to it. So it has diminishing returns. So, you know, not one of their best albums in my opinion. There are some good songs on this thing, but there's a lot of songs where it's just skip, skip, skip. Anyway, moving up to D tier, Falling into Infinity. Easy, I would say. Now, when I first heard Falling into Infinity, I really thought like there are parts of this album that I think are really good, and then there's other parts where I don't care for it at all because I find it boring. Having heard it and lived with this album way longer, because this is an album that a lot of people do not like, and I can understand why. Because it wasn't the same thing as like what Awake and like what Images was, which I get that. And, you know, I do think that there's a lot of material on here that showed potential, maybe didn't fully reach it. But then I think, man, there's also some songs on here that are really good and that I really like Lines in the Sand, that is really good. Burning in My Soul, that is really good. You Not Me, I don't care if it's a kind of a cheesier kind of song, I still like that song. And I think stand by that it's a pretty darn good album. But if we're going by all of their discography, it's still near the bottom for me, even though I like most of the songs on it. So, Alright, as for what else is going to be in D tier, the self-title. Now, this was a very bold move by Dream Theater to release this, because it's like, having all these albums and they come out with this sleek black, just named after the band, you know. It was a bold step, and I think it wasn't their best foot forward, in my opinion. In regards to the production, I thought the production on that album, especially that fucking snare drum, I don't know what the hell you call that. That is not a snare. That was just a really annoying sound that kept playing. And not to mention, a lot of the songs, at least for me, they're not as memorable. They don't really stick with me that well. So I don't tend to really come back and revisit this particular album. So, as far as, like, what do I think about it? Kind of not really that good, so I don't really tend to recommend it that much. Though I think there are some songs on there that I do honestly enjoy. But then there's a lot of them where it's just like, it's just not for me. At least as far as my tastes are concerned. Um, Anything else in D tier? A dramatic turn of events, I would say. Now, this is the first album with Mike Mangini. Mike Portnoy had just left the band, and they got Mike Mangini. I think that this is definitely a very underrated album, I would say. For certain. There's a lot of people who do not care for this album, and then there's a lot of people who do like this album. I think that when I first listened to it, it surprised me with how good it was, because my expectations were kind of low. Because I had heard, like, the Astonishing and the self-title, and I wasn't that too optimistic. So my expectations were very low for the album, and it preceded my expectations, so I'm like, oh, it's actually better than I thought it was. But again, it's another situation where there are songs that I keep coming back to consistently, but then there's other songs where I honestly couldn't care about it all. And that's why I'm putting it in D tier. Honestly, I would put Falling Into Infinity over A Dramatic Turn of Events, personally. I listened to that album, this album more anyway. But, Okay, now this next one may be a bit controversial considering, like, how many people don't like this album. But When Dream and Day Unites, C tier for me. It was the first album I ever heard from this band. Absolutely enjoyed it. In retrospect, the writing wasn't the best. They've done way better work since then. Honestly, I like Charlie Dominici's voice. I don't hate his voice. I know a lot of people, they cannot stand his voice. And also, some people just have a massive stick up their ass because they're like, oh, he's not James LeBrie. He's not on the album. But honestly, I think there's some really good songs on this album. Not one bad one, I would say. There isn't a bad song on this album. It's really solid. I mean, you'd say Jam is still in their sound, their set list today. So, kind of, what do you say to that? It's really good in my opinion. One of my, not my top, not my top level of albums, but definitely, pretty good in my opinion. This next one is also going to be a rather controversial one for sure. But Images and Words, C tier. Why? Not because it's bad. I don't think it's a bad album. Not by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that this album in particular gets a lot of credit, and it's understandable. If Images and Words is one of your favorite albums, I can understand why. But for me personally, bit overrated, in my opinion. That doesn't mean, when I say that it's overrated, that doesn't mean that it's bad. I think, it has some pretty solid songs, but as far as albums that I come back to on the regular, it's just not one of them. Personally. Though I can listen to that album and through that album whenever and have a blast, but I don't do it all the time. When we get like up into these two, it's way more often, like almost daily. I think there may be one more left in C tier that I can put. Distance over time, I'd say. The newest Dream Theater album, and I think definitely a step up. Big step up from The Astonishing. Like, really good. I mean, when Untethered Angel came out, kept going back to that tune. Really good. Paralyzed, also really good. Like, this is a pretty solid piece, and I honestly can't wait to see what they come up with next as their next album, because definitely way better than the previous 3 albums, I would say, as far as their studio albums go, anyway. I'm not, obviously, because it doesn't include, like, live albums. Okay. Um, Moving on to B tier, I'd say. Ugh. 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. Now, I want to preference this particular choice with that I think, personally, it has one of my top 5 favorite Dream Theater songs, period, in the first track, The Glass Prison. I love that song, and I love this album. I can see why a lot of people love it, and I do too. I absolutely love this album. When I get around to listening to it in its entirety, just wow, it is really good. Just the whole 6 Degrees of Interment with the title track is so damn good. I don't care that it's over 40 minutes long. It's fucking amazing, and I love it. But comparing with the albums that we have left, I listen to all these ones way more. But this one's still in pretty heavy rotation. So there's no bad mouthing this album, because I don't think that there is one bad song on this album at all. It is all really good, very heavy. Then there's a lot of very melodic stuff as well, and I really like that. Fucking great. One of the best Dream Theater songs on this thing. But moving on, A tier. This is where it starts to get very difficult for me anyway. I mean, this is getting tough. Like, really hard. Octavarium. Definitely one of their really good mid-era Dream Theater albums. But I think that there are some songs where it's like, one of the criticisms that gets paled at this album is that it's a bit too ballad heavy, which, there are a good number of ballads on this thing. They are good ballads, in my opinion. Some, a bit more than others. Like, to give you an example of one of the songs where I'm just like, it's not that it's bad, it's just that there's better songs on there. Like, I Walk Beside You, like, it's not bad. It's not a bad song at all, but definitely one of the ones where it's kind of lower as far as the hierarchy of the songs anyway, you know. But then Panic Attack, fucking amazing. These Walls, fucking amazing. The Root of Evil, also really good. Title track, again, one of my favorite songs by Dream Theater. The title track, Octavarium, really fucking great. I mean, wow, that is like one of their songs that is like just, oh, it's so good, so good. Okay, next up, oh man. Again, this is, oh my god, it is really tough. Black Clouds and Silver Linings. The last album to feature Mike Portnoy on the drums. Oh man, what can I say about this album? What can I say about Black Cloud and Silver Linings? I mean, there's not a lot of tracks on it. They're all pretty lengthy songs. But oh my god, that thing is just so damn good. I love it. Like, there's only 6 tracks on this entire thing, but all 6 of them are really fucking good, in my opinion. It's one of the more solid Dream Theater albums, and that's why I have it up so high. It's also one of the really heavy ones, too, which is what I personally like. I like it when Dream Theater's a bit more on the heavy side of things. Don't get me wrong, I like it when they're melodic and more, soothing and more gentle, but I really like it when they're really heavy. And this thing has plenty of it. It's really good. Like, I mean, when I first heard A Nightmare to Remember, when it opens with that thunder crack and then the rain and then the like, and it just gets into it, oh my god, that blew me away. Like, holy shit. I mean, A Rite of Passage, really good. Definitely one of my top songs. The Shattered Fortress, also really good. But probably my favorite song off of this one is The Best of Times. I mean, oh my god, the fucking solo. Whenever somebody says, like, John Bertucci is just a big wank fest, and that he has no soul, he just plays the notes for the sake of playing the notes, not feel or anything, I always point to that solo. Like, that is his best solo that he's ever put down, I'd say. Really good. And by the way, once I'm done filling out the list, I'm going to go through each of the albums again and say what is my favorite song. Anyway, oh, okay, now this is getting really hard. Like, wow. Because there's definitely one more in A tier that I want to put, and then just, I'm going to fill in the rest. Fuck, this is really hard. Like, just, wow. Wow. It's definitely between these two, I'd say. You know what? Systematic Chaos. That one is very hard for me, because Systematic Chaos was, when I got up to it, it was definitely different. It was definitely different. But, like, some people don't really care for it as much. Like, but honestly, like, as far as, like, being after Octavarium, and I listened to both of those albums consistently, I honestly think I would put Systematic Chaos ahead of Octavarium. It's just that damn good. I like pretty much all the songs. I think one song where it's like, and I think why I'm putting it here, and there's another case in point with another song on one of the top albums I'm going to mention in a minute, but Prophets of War is one of those songs where it's like, in the whole grand scheme of the album, it does fit. And it fits its purpose. But it's one of those songs where it's still really good, but in terms of its overall ranking, like if you were to go through each track by track and then rank where it stands, it would be at the bottom for me. Even though I absolutely love the album front to back. I mean, oh my god, I can't say one bad word about it, other than I know a lot of people don't care for the mixing. I honestly don't mind the mixing that much. It's not the best, but it's, still really good. I honestly can go on and on about Systematic Chaos, but, like, wow. Alright. Now, S tier. Awake. Easy for me. Why? Because I heard When a Dream Day Unites, thought it was really good. Images and Words, also I thought was good. But when I heard Awake for the first time, that was what made me realize that this is one of my favorite bands. I mean, just instantly. As soon as it kicks in, it hits with 6 o'clock and that Like, oh my god, blew my mind as soon as I heard that. Holy shit. Like, that made me take notice. And then the whole rest of the album, they just whoop your fucking face in. Especially because this also has, like, one of my favorite Dream Theater songs as well. In regards to, like, the heaviness. Like, I mean, 6 o'clock, caught on a web, um, the mirror, lie, and honestly, an underrated song in my opinion. And it may be like my favorite, even though it's a ballad. Lifting Shadows Off a Dream, I don't care what anyone says. That is a damn fine song, and I love this album. I could gush about it all day. Like, seriously. Train of Thought. Now, see, this is what makes this one and Systematic Chaos so close to me, because those are the two that I listen to by far the most, other than the one that's left. So that's what makes it very hard. As a matter of fact, I may flip-flop them in a second, just because, ugh. Cause like, how now I'm remembering, Ministry of Lost Souls, and like, oh my god, like how fucking amazing that song is. Like, but just wow. Talk about an album that is very pulverizing album. Because Dream Theater is like, oh, we need to, we've had our, different stuff, but we need to just go with a full-on balls out to the wall album. They definitely getting some of the new metal stuff in there, that's for sure. But it's just really heavy. I love the sound of everything. The production could have been, could be a little bit better, but it's just a time frame. But I can understand that. And it's just really good. I mean, oh my lord. Just some of these songs are massive hitters. I mean, As I Am, pretty much them saying fuck to everyone who's telling them what to do with their career, and they're like, you take me as I am, damn it, and that is it. Fuck you if you don't like it. This Dying Soul, another part of the 12-step suite from Mr. Portnoy. Really good. I just love that song. And then, just front to back, really good. I mean, Vacant is really the only song, kind of like Prophets of War, where it's like, it serves its purpose for what it is, but in the grand scheme of the album, like, when you start to break them down, it's the one that's at the bottom for me. So that's why they're so similar for me, is because they both have one song where it's like, I don't hate it, but compared to the other songs, it's at the bottom for me. And now, time for by far the one that is easily my favorite. It doesn't get flip-flopped in anything. This is just how it is. And I don't care. Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory. Hands down, my personal favorite Dream Theater album out of them all. It's not even a contest for me. Like, it's just that damn good. Now, I will say this. When you are just listening to particular songs, it doesn't work as well, because it is a concept album. So when you just pick out, like, certain songs to just listen to, I don't do that with Scenes from Memory. I do not do that. I say you need to listen to this album in its entirety to be able to fully appreciate it, because if you just pick out a song or two to listen to, you will not get it. It will not click, and you probably won't even like it that much. But listen to it in its entirety, and really absorb everything coming from this particular album, and just how damn amazing that it is. And, like, oh my lord, I can't speak enough great about it. Like, it's just that damn good. In my opinion, it's just fucking amazing. But, alright, now that I pretty much laid out everything, and you know what, I'm doing it, fuck it, I don't even care. I don't care. Ministry of Lost Souls for me. I changed my mind. I don't give a shit. But alright, Anyway, gonna say my favorite tracks, and then I'm gonna be wrapping this up. Okay, awfully astonishing. I mean, yeah, there's some good songs, but most of them I skip. But if I'm just going off the top of my head, I'm gonna say Our New World, or The Gift of Music. If I had to pick, it would be one of those two, I'd say. At least, that's the first two that came to mind, so I'm going with that. Um, Falling into Infinity. Lines in the Sand, I'd say. Yeah. I mean, Hallelujah is really good, so it's Burning in My Soul, but yeah. Lines in the Sand, I would definitely say, for certain. Okay, the self-title album. Ugh. Not a whole lot sticking out. Again, that's that album where it's just like, you know, like just not. But if I'm gonna go with one off the top of my head, I'm gonna go with The Enemy Inside. I'm gonna go with that. It's really heavy. I like it. So that's the one I'm going with. I'll probably remember another one later and be like, oh yeah, I should have said that one, but you know what, whatever. That's the one I'm going with. So, a dramatic turn of events. Favorite track? I actually would say it's a toss-up between Build Me Up, Break Me Down, and This Is the Life. I'm gonna go with Build Me Up, Break Me Down, because I really do enjoy that song. Not that that other song isn't good, it is. But, that's the one I'm going with. When Dreaming Day Unites, The Killing Hand. Easy. Images and Words. I mean, even though it's, again, one that I think is overrated, but it definitely has, like, one of the most consistent, like, songs, I would say. But I would say Metropolis Part 1, I would say, for that. Distant Over Time. I mean, Paralyzed is really good. I really do enjoy that song. But you know what? I'm gonna go with Untethered Angel for favorite track, personally. 6 Degrees, I've already said it. Glass Prison, easy for me. Octavarium. Ooh, that's tough. That is really hard. I mean, the title track's fucking amazing, but I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards Panic Attack. Like, I listen to that song religiously almost. So yeah, I think I'll say Panic Attack. Black Cloud and Silver Linings. The Best of Times, I'd say. And if not that, then A Rite of Passage. But I like all the songs on this album. Train of Thought. Honor Thy Father. Easy. Especially because of the breakdown part. I mean, like, when it's like, don't cross the crooked step. Yeah, that part. It's fucking amazing. I can listen to that part over and over again. Awake. I feel like I'm pulling my hair out with this one. God. Lifting Shadows Off a Dream. If not that, then The Mirror, I'd say. Actually gonna switch these two, I'd say. Let's do that. Systematic Chaos. I mean, In the Presence of Enemies, both part 1 and 2 are really good. But The Dark Eternal Light's also really good. You know what? I'm going Ministry of Lost Souls. That's the one I'm going with. And then for Scenes from a Memory, the final track, Finally Free, personally. It's just really good. I mean, what else can you say? Just really good. Yeah, so that's been like over, almost 30 minutes of me just nerding out, pretty much, about one of my favorite bands. But yeah, that's at least, in my opinion, my personal ranking of the Dream Theater discography so far. I honestly can't wait to hear the new album and hear the new material. I can't wait to hear it. Can't wait to see it. Hopefully, I'll get to see them live at some point. No, I'm getting like all choked up just thinking about it. Makes me want to cry. Um, but yeah, that's gonna be it for now, guys. Keep an eye out for kind of these other like kind of holdover videos, if you will, because I definitely want to do that my top Dream Theater songs. I definitely want to do that. I definitely want to do like more of these kind of tier things, because to get my opinion out there and maybe just spark a conversation with you guys. Also give me your opinions. What would be your tier list too? Let me know. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Come by the Discord and we can chat about it. And just be a bunch of prog loving metalheads. And it is what it is. But I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.